Alright, we get a few Paragon points out of that, but we also get the confirmation of our SMG damage, tech damage. Anything else? No, that's it. Okay. Cool. So that was a very, very big mission, of course. It was possibly one of our toughest ones yet. I think, or definitely one of our toughest ones. Was it the toughest one? I mean, if we're tracking that by death count, then probably. What would be the next closest comparison would probably be Corliss, recruiting the Warlord. But, you know, I think in both cases, you know, we had some silly deaths where we just kind of ran in and found ourselves caught out of cover and just got quickly taken out in that case. And, you know, once we got ourselves in the positions we wanted to be in, we were able to have much more success. We tried out the Avalanche to try to freeze our enemies, and at least for completing objectives, the idea was that that would make it so that we have some more time to do that. Not entirely sold on it. You know, it was, you know, some of it, yes, maybe a matter of, you know, making sure that we've got our well, we aim properly for it. It does, for the record, have a relatively large area of effect, so I was kind of deliberately at times not shooting directly at people, because I wanted to try to shoot in the middle of the group of people to get all of them in the blast radius and try to freeze them all in one shot. But even then, I want to say sometimes, although it felt like oftentimes we were not freezing people in the process. So it's just like, okay, at this point, they're not getting frozen by one shot. I'm just going to start spraying this thing all over the place. And, you know, that kind of sloppiness did get us into trouble on a few occasions. So, not sure what that means long-term for the Avalanche, as to whether we'll be looking to do that again in the future, or if we'll instead opt for different weapons and to use in its place. But let's take a look at our upgrades here, because we did get that SMG damage upgrade, and it's Iridium that it costs, and we have plenty of that, so I'd say let's go for it. Okay, then... oh. Looks like it also unlocked SMG shield piercing damage, so it's just talking about how SMGs and assault rifles tend to be better, or basically the fast-firing weapons tend to be better for taking out the shields and barriers, although in this case specifically shields for the SMG. So, I mean, 50% damage is obviously a ton. So, all about this, a module in the Mass Effect field generator creates a basic envelope around each slug before it is fired at the target. This disrupts any Mass Effect field protecting the target, resulting in superior penetration. Totally. Let's do it. Could make, between those two upgrades, our SMGs far more effective, especially against shields. Going to be a big deal for that. Then, that's it for weapon upgrades we can currently do. We need one more SMG damage upgrade before we can get additional rounds for SMG, which is not something that is immediately jumping out to me as something that we are super keen on doing. Let's see, then armor upgrades, we did pick up that tech damage upgrade, and 30% power damage for the tech power damage for the entire team. Does sound quite good. Again, we don't really have tech skills. I don't recall as to what category the flashbang grenade technically falls under. I may double check that sometime in the future. As there's a non-zero chance that it is technically tech power, in which case, you know, the damage is not going to be a huge factor on that, because we're not really doing it for the damage, we're doing it for the debuff, so cooldown recovery would probably be more relevant for us in that case, but at least for our squad mates that are using the tech abilities, like the overloads, what else are the key? Incinerate when we're using Morden. That will be definitely a big improvement for them, so let's do it. And we'll see if that unlocks any future tech upgrades here. Did it? It does. Tech cooldowns. That is exactly what we were saying might be preferable, at least for us, but certainly for teammates as well. It costs EZO, and a lot of EZO, but we do have a lot of EZO to do that, so shouldn't be much of a problem. So, let's see. Most Omni tools are tuned to have an effective lifespan of 10 years or more for precision work, and up to 50 for more general tasks. Disabling most safety protocols and installing an experimental power core improves efficiency, but reduces the expected operating lifespan by a factor of 20. So, will last much less time, but you know, we'll just replace him after a little bit, right? Elusive Man's got the funds, he'll back us up. Surely, right? But anyways, this will definitely be very helpful to us. Don't think we're gonna have anything else popping up after that. No, at least not for the armor upgrades with the tech stuff. Also love to get the biotic duration soon, but we need one more biotic damage upgrade before that becomes available to us. Ship enhancements, I think we're still waiting on that. Don't need it just yet. Advanced training, not looking to change that anytime soon, I don't think. Other than that, yeah, that looks like that's just about it in terms of upgrades we'd like to make. Let's make a point of chatting with some people after recruiting Garrus. And let's start with Joker. I think I've heard rumor that apparently, if you don't immediately talk to Joker after completing some missions, you may lose out on his unique dialogue from that mission. So let's deliberately talk to him first.
Hey, Commander, we got Garrus back. That's great, because he was totally my favorite. With that pole up his ass.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Rude, first of all. Also, I'm not even sure that that's accurate. I mean, again, I was saying this a little while ago, but in Mass Effect 1, I feel like that was definitely more so the case. Where, I mean, obviously, we've only just reunited with him in Mass Effect 2, but already, you know, we first encounter him, he's right off the bat giving us snarky comments, you know, the whole, I don't know what to do with my life, I don't like working at CSEC, but I don't know what the alternative is, because I don't want to follow other people's rules, but I don't have the courage to go out and make my own rules and do things my way. And then, well, you know, he goes from being all talk or mostly talk in Mass Effect 1 to being more of a man of action already in Mass Effect 2 with him fighting off 3 separate mercenary groups. Obviously, you know, at least to finish them off, he did need some help, but you know, that's an impressive feat, and does give him some credibility to start making some of those snarky comments. So, you know, he's not bad in that sense. Let's see if Joker has anything to say specifically with regard to that mission, other than his insults of Garrus.
So, how do you think we're doing?
Well, the Normandy's not as ready as she could be. There's always more we could upgrade. And as for the crew, you'd have to ask a people person.
Okay. What about things in the cockpit?
I assume everything is going well up here?
Quiet enough. What the?
Trouble?
No, it's nothing. Son of a... Very funny, Edie. Real original. Stop it.
You did insist on manual control, Mr. Moreau.
Hmm? Oh, is it the chair, like, rotating? Is that what is manual?
That's it for now.
See you, Commander.
I suppose? Alright, well, so that's Joker, and yes, there, I think, is a good example of a little dialogue with him at the very beginning where he sort of took a shot at Garrus, where you may not get that if you talk to other people before you talk to Joker. So let's try to make a habit of having Joker be the first person that we talk to once we complete any big missions. Now that we have done so, we should be able to chat with others, see if they have anything to say.
Commander, can I help you with something?
I'm more interested in just talking for a bit.
Already? I'm not big on forcing these talks, Shepard. Let's do this later.
Alright,
Commander.
if you insist. Of course, at our weapons locker, we do now have more options for various people, and I'm actually not sure if we've done this previously, but we can basically just choose people's weapons here outside of the actual mission selection screen, so that way, you know, if you want to make a point of, say, going, we were talking previously about what kind of assault rifle do we want for Zaid? Is it our starting Avenger? Probably not. Is it the Vindicator that we just picked up on the mission that we were doing to recruit Garrus? Maybe. Is it the Matic that we just purchased on Omega? Maybe. You know, if you want to switch that around, then you could do this here, and that way you don't actually need to take Zaid with you on a mission to optimize your team, and that might make it a little bit quicker on the character selection screen and what have you, so that you have one fewer thing that you need to bear in mind when you're assembling the squad. Anything new from Morden?
Shepard, how can I help?
We'd like to talk. Like to chat. Anything new with you?
Have you got a minute to talk?
Some other time. About to test new bioweapon. Not on us, of course.
I hope not.
Didn't think I had to specify, but Joker got nervous. Anything else?
I'll let you
That'll
in.
do.
We'll be here
That'll
if
do.
you need me.
Just need to test out a new bioweapon on the crew. Excuse me? Remind me again why we invited you on here? Weren't you supposed to be a doctor? Helping cure people of diseases, not causing more diseases? Let's see.
The elusive man wishes to speak to you in the debriefing room, Commander.
The elusive man wishes to speak to us in the debriefing room. Now that is not something we hear every day.
How is our newest Turian crew member doing? His injuries looked painful.
We've not yet checked in on him, but we will do that in just a minute here.
He's been through a lot, and not just physically.
There's something about him. I just want to hold him close and whisper, "It will be all right."
Whoa, Kelly. Whoa. That just went from 0 to 15 in the blink of an eye. So I take it you're into aliens, huh?
Are you attracted to other species?
Well, part of my job is predicting the motives and feelings of humans and aliens. Intimacy brings understanding. And passion is nice
Kelly?
wherever you find it. Character matters, not race or gender. Anything else, Commander?
So in other words, you just tried to dodge the question, but the answer is absolutely. How's the group?
Is there anything I should know?
You have unread messages at your private terminal. Anything else, Commander?
Oh, okay, sure. Anything else we can chat about?
Do you have a moment to talk?
I always have time for you, Commander.
But if we're just investigating stuff, then I'd say,
I better go.
Okay. Maybe
That'll
we'll
be all.
talk later.
Let's check out our private terminal in that case. So if we look at our team status, we should of course see an update here. As we have one more member of the team, front and center here is Garrus. So let's take a look then, shall we? So loyalty, normal of course, we just picked him up. We've not yet done his loyalty mission. He has concussive shot, which is the ability that we've been using with Zaid on some occasions, just to knock people down when they are unprotected by armor, shields, barriers, what have you. Give ourselves a little bit more time to deal with them. And armor-piercing ammo, so another ammo type, as you can probably imagine, specialized particularly against armor. So other than that, he's another assault rifle sniper user, similar to Zaid. So in many ways, we were talking about how Zaid is a good complement to our skill set because, while we are sort of a close-range specialist, he's more of a long-range specialist, and also has a nice passive squad ammo that we can throw on, and that can help the rest of the team. Garrus, in many ways, or at least fills a very similar role to the role that Zaid fills, because also, assault rifle, sniper rifle, means that he's, again, long-range specialist. Also has the concussive shot, so that's identical. Then the overload versus, in Zaid's case, the Inferno Grenade. Technically, the Inferno Grenade is Zaid's loyal ability, whereas, or bonus ability, whereas I believe in Garrus's case, the armor-piercing ammo is. So it's really overload compared to the ammo obviously compares to ammo. You know what I'm getting at here. The order in which you unlock the abilities is different for them. Zaid starts with the ammo ability, whereas for Garrus, we're going to need to unlock it. But they both have ammo abilities, just one is good against shields, one's good against armor. And although Garrus's ammo ability is good against armor, his overload is an ability that is, of course, specialized at taking out shields. So I'd argue in some ways you could perhaps make the case that Garrus is a little bit more well-rounded than Zaid is, just that, if we want everyone to be dealing extra damage with their weapons to shields, then maybe Zaid is preferable for that reason. But definitely a very good complement to our skill set with Garrus as well. So very good to pick him up, of course. And very good to have someone back on the team who we, of course, had in our team back in Mass Effect 1. And, I mean, that was one of my biggest gripes with Mass Effect 2 when I first played it in my first playthrough was, at least initially, went a long time, it felt like, with, or Miranda and Jacob, all these new people. I mean, I suppose we saw Joker relatively early, but at least our squad mates, you know, all these people who we'd never met before, and it felt to me like, you know, we spent all this time fighting alongside our teammates in Mass Effect 1 and learning so much about the characters as well along the way. And so we invested a lot in building those relationships and learning about them, and they felt like, you know, they were good teammates, they were friends of ours. And so then to just come back at the beginning of Mass Effect 2 and suddenly be working with what felt like complete strangers in Jacob and Miranda, to me that was, at least initially for Mass Effect 2, to be honest, a little bit of a turn-off for me. Because I was like, okay, well, I mean, the characters in Mass Effect are certainly one of the most compelling components of the game, and if you take away the ones that, you know, we grew to know and love, then, you know, you're taking away what is one of the most important parts of the game. So, of course, once one gets Garrus, then that does certainly change that equation quite a bit. Getting him back after having him in Mass Effect 1 is great. And then, of course, you know, at least this time around, going with subsequent playthroughs, where I have a better sense as to, you know, who Zaid, Mordin, Miranda, Jacob, Jack, and Kasumi are, it feels less like tagging along with strangers and more like, oh, you know, getting the chance to meet some new friends and people who I'm sure eventually we will come to know much better than we currently do, at least in this playthrough. So, let's see. I believe, obviously, Kelly was telling us, so the Elusive Man wants to speak to us, and we will definitely want to speak to the Elusive Man eventually. Let's check those unread messages that she was saying we have, though, real quick. It could happen to you. From Elkos Mail Routing. A Drell lay in the ocean, dying from Keppel syndrome, and had a dream. In his dream, the Enkindlers came to him and charted the course of his life. The Drell saw the wakes and eddies, and saw that sometimes the Enkindlers swam alongside him, limbs raking the water, while other times he was alone. The Drell saw that the times he was alone were the hardest times in his life. He asked the Enkindlers, why was this one abandoned? The Enkindlers answered, their light shining brightly. You were never abandoned. In those difficult times in your life, it was our bodies that bore you through the water. The Drell awoke and found his Keppel syndrome cured. If you follow the light of the Enkindlers, it can happen to you. Where the Enkindlers go, we shall follow. And where their light is the sun, we shall be the stars around them. Send this message to 6 beings of your acquaintance, and your greatest wish shall come true. Okay, one of those classic social media-like posts where they try to say, you know, they try to spam you with their preachy message, and they say, oh, but if you send this to X number of additional people, then good things will happen to you. Trust us. Or if you don't send this to other people, then bad things are going to happen to you. You should feel very concerned, and if you don't do what I'm telling you to do, then things are going to be bad, so, you know, you should listen to me. Like, okay, well, you know, let's not take this too seriously. Concerns regarding Keepers, from Chorban. If that name rings a bell, and if this description sounds at all familiar, that is because, well, yes, it is a callback to something we did in Mass Effect 1. Where we chose to either scan or not scan the Keepers, which was one of the first things we did in Mass Effect 1, in fact. I hope this address still works. I promise to send you intel on the Keepers if I found anything, and this is important. See, those scans you took? Turns out the Keepers are bioengineered. Based on my comparisons to some of the material from Saren's flagship Sovereign, they were engineered millions of years ago. By the same people who made Sovereign. And, yeah, so, you know, Sovereign was the Reaper that we fought in Mass Effect 1. So, yeah, if the Keepers were made by the Reapers, then that sounds like that's not good. You may not understand how important this is, but it suggests that the Citadel wasn't really made by the Protheans. I suppose if the Keepers are the ones that are maintaining the Citadel, I mean, do we know that they actually built it? I mean, I think our understanding is that the Keepers basically came into existence right around the same time as the Citadel, and So perhaps that does mean that whoever made the Keepers also made the Citadel, and if the people who made the Keepers are the same people who made Sovereign, then that means the answer to the makers of, well, Sovereign, Keepers, and the Citadel is Reapers. So that's a little concerning. That's more concerning, in fact, if it's not just the Keepers, it's the Citadel itself. That sounds like that could be terrifying, in fact. And what's more, based on my genetic readings, they're supposed to react to something, some signal or something, about every 50,000 years. You can measure genetic variances. It's a bit like comparing rings on a tree to see the drought gears. Whoever did this, well, around the last time the signal went off would be around the time the Protheans disappeared. And it's scheduled to go off sometime around now. And if any of the old tech still works, we could have some nasty surprises waiting for us. Just thought you'd want to know. Nobody here on the Citadel will listen to me. Corbin. So, that's full of a whole lot of alarming signs. Yeah. That's kind of terrifying. Then we have, glad I didn't sign up, from John Whitson. Hey, Arya gave me this address. I think I met you at Afterlife on Omega. You stopped me from joining up with those mercs who were trying to take out Archangel. This was the guy that we used the Paragon interrupt to, well, tell him, you know, kid, maybe not the best idea in this case. Man, I was so pissed off at that. At you. I got blind drunk that night, and it was a few days later before I got together enough to check the news vids, saw that almost all those mercs had gotten killed by Archangel. Don't know who you are, or if you got out there alive yourself, but thanks. I felt really stupid when I heard about the body count, and how I could have been part of it. I'll make the most of what I have, or of what you did for me. John Whitson. So, yeah, we probably did, in fact, save that guy's life in that case. As he was saying, and as we witnessed firsthand, a lot of those mercenaries who were sent to try to take out Archangel, well, either Archangel killed them, or we did. So, would be unfortunate if we were to find ourselves actually fighting that guy to the death. The guy who, you know, just seemed like a relatively innocent, albeit, you know, kind of clueless, civilian who thought, why not try to get myself in on the action and, try to take down this Archangel guy. But anyways, that's all of our email messages. Now, let's chat with other people here, because, most importantly, of course, we have Garrus, who we've not talked to directly after having recruited him. So let's make a point of doing that here. Okay, so, and I suppose other people as well. Last time we saw Dr. Chocklaw, she was, crashed out over here after doing the, taking perhaps a little too many swigs out of the Ceresis brandy we provided her with. She seems to be back up and running now, though.
The commander has put together an impressive team. I've never worked with so many aliens before.
They're a small army. We might just pull this mission off.
Hey, look at that. Okay, starting to assemble a squad, and the rest of the more minor, insignificant crew members they're taking notice. They approve. That's good to hear. Alright, let's see. We've got Miranda over here. See if she has anything else to say.
Commander, what can I do for you?
Can we talk?
You have a minute, Miranda?
There's a lot to do, Shepard. Maybe another time.
Apparently not, as it turns out.
I'll let you work.
Of course, Commander.
Okay. In that case, let's poke our head over here, an area that we did not previously have access to. The reason for that being, this is Garrus' spot. Let's see, we can examine the monitoring station. Give us codex entry on disruptor torpedoes. And get a weapons update on the Javelin. Let's get Edie's explanation about what this area of the ship is.
What's this area of the ship?
The Gunnery control station. The ship's batteries are controlled from here. The Combat Information Center operators send targeting information here. The CIC decides who to shoot. Gunnery control decides how to shoot.
Okay. So, we got the weapons over here. Let's see what Garrus is up to, though. Of course, last we saw him in a mission, of course, he was, taking a pretty big hit. But, it does seem as though he's been patched up.
Shepard, need me for something?
Let's see. Normandy upgrades. No, let's talk about the weapons, because that is, the place where you have taken up your, position here is, at the place where we're dealing with all the weapons.
What can you tell me about the Normandy?
On the ship, that is.
Looks like Cerberus upgraded what the ship carried before. Should have a bit more kick. I still don't like our chances against a collector ship, though. Not unless we upgrade the guns.
Oh, so, somebody told you about the correct collectors already, did they? Because, we didn't. But, sure, you say so. Speaking of Normandy upgrades, you got any ideas there?
Have you got any upgrade ideas for the Normandy's weapon systems?
A few, yeah. Here, take a look.
Alright, and yes, in fact, he does have upgrades in mind, and as you can probably imagine, they will fall under the Normandy upgrades category, and as he alluded to, it is a Normandy weapon upgrade. The Turian-designed Thanex magnetic hydrodynamic cannon is now installed on the Normandy. This cannon is powerful enough to destroy a collector ship with repeated hits. So, as he was saying, he felt like our existing cannon maybe doesn't have quite enough firepower to actually take out a collector ship, but with an upgraded Thanex cannon, then perhaps we could. And again, I think, these Normandy upgrades we absolutely will do at some point, with the exception being the med bay. It's just that they're not super urgent just yet. So, as of right now, we're going to try to save things like our platinum, palladium, iridium, and what have you for the things that are more directly going to affect our performance in the missions that we are doing right now. The weapon damage upgrades, tech damage, biotic duration, all that stuff we've been talking about before. So,
let me know when
we won't
you
take
got
it now.
materials for me to upgrade our guns.
Even if we do have the materials, technically we're going to save them, I think, for other upgrades that we can get those done as soon as they become available to us. But let's see what else we can talk to you about. Like, what are your thoughts on us technically working for Cerberus? Because as we were talking about previously, you did accompany us on several missions in Mass Effect 1 in which we fought Cerberus when they were doing absolutely insane, maniacal experiments.
Have the Cerberus crewmen given you any trouble?
I think being part of the team that took down Saren got me some points. Everyone I talked to was polite anyway. Don't worry, Commander. We're all working together.
Okay. So, that looks like that's everything. We just chat?
Have you got a minute?
Sure. Just checking the weapon systems. You can never be too careful. I thought I'd seen every weapon in the galaxy in our fight against Saren. Mercenary work showed me otherwise. And now Cerberus rebuilds the Normandy with a few upgrades to boot. I wish we joined up with them sooner.
Sure about that, Garrus? You sure about that, Garrus? Remember the part where, just like a little while ago you were telling us how, Cerberus was doing some pretty sketchy stuff, and, you were kind of criticizing us for, joining up with them, and now suddenly you're like, oh man, we should have joined them earlier. Maybe it's a little bit hypocritical?
We haven't joined Cerberus. They're funding our mission, that's all.
Relax, Shepard. Just a figure of speech. I can't exactly doubt your judgment. Not after I got my own squad killed.
Yeah, that's the thing. We did hear on your recruitment mission that apparently you did have a squad that was with you, and, well, they did eventually get taken out, and it was, of course, just Garrus remaining when we actually got there. So, what exactly was the deal with them?
What did your merc squad do? It didn't sound like you were available for hire.
You saw Omega. It was full of thugs kicking the helpless. I formed my team to kick back. We weren't mercenaries. At least nobody was paying us.
How'd you
We
fund
made
it,
money
then?
by taking down slavers, pirates, or gangs that went too far.
So, did you take their goods and money you steal from the stealers? Because, and how else are you... if nobody's paying you to do that, then how... you don't just magically get money for being a impromptu police officer. Yeah, Yeah, like, does that make you a thug?
It sounds like you were just another gang.
Then I'm saying it wrong. We didn't shake anyone down. No civilian casualties. That was our rule. Every member of my team had lost someone to Omega's gangs. We weren't out to get rich. We were out to make those bastards think twice before murdering someone in the street.
Okay, I mean, I suppose that's, the cause. The cause is perhaps, understandable, yes. The methods, sure, no civilian casualties you say, but, does still sound a bit like you were borderline creating your own, mercenary group here. Alright, and, it's a little bit weird to refer to this as Garrus's history, but, Garrus, your history, what have you been up to the past few years as we were, like dying and getting resurrected and what have you, and joining Cerberus, kind of, sort of?
How'd you end up fighting mercenaries here on Omega?
I went back to
We're not
CSEC
currently
after
on
the
Omega,
Normandy
thank you very
was
much, Shepard.
destroyed, but with all the rebuilding at the Citadel, there was too much chaos for me to really help. Omega was filled with criminals nobody else could touch, and there was no red tape to slow me down. It was a perfect fit. People here needed someone to believe in, someone to stand up to the local thugs.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're, like, technically still stationed or docked at Omega, so it's, like, kind of, sort of still here. But, how did you get a group, exactly? I mean, you sort of talked about this, how the people who were working with you had suffered losses to the various mercenary groups.
That explains how you started. How'd you end up with a squad?
Not too different from how you formed your squad to fight Saren, actually. You prove that you get things done, and people join up. Mercs who wanted to atone. Security consultants tired of playing by the rules. I gave them hope. And now they're dead. Shows what I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dangerous game we play here. I mean, what kind of squad did you have?
Tell me about your squad.
There were 12 of us, including me. Former military operatives, CSEC agents, the usual. Had a Solarian explosives expert. Pretty sure he'd spent time in the Special Tasks group. My tech expert was a Batarian, believe it or not. Not the friendliest guy, but he could hack any system ever built.
Okay. As I smack my glass of water. That looks like everything we can ask about his team, so in that case, how exactly did it play out before we got there?
How did those mercenary gangs take down your team?
It was my own damn fault. One of my people betrayed me. A Turian named Sidonis. He drew me away just before the Mercs attacked my squad. Then he disappeared. Everyone except me is dead because of him. And because I didn't see it coming.
Ooh. Betrayal, you say? Alright, give us the juicy details.
I'm not sure I understand. What happened exactly?
Sidonis asked for my help on a job. When I got to the meeting point, nobody was there. By the time I got back to our hideout, the Mercs had killed all but 2 of my squad. And they didn't last long.
Yikes. I mean, maybe this Sidonis guy, got killed in the fray here, but I don't know about that. Have you found him?
Do you know where Sidonis is now?
No. His trail vanishes after he leaves Omega, but I'll keep hunting. I lost my whole team except for Sidonis. One day I'll find him and correct that.
Ooh.
Thanks for coming by, Shepard. I've got some things to take care of.
Okay, get a couple Paragon points from that conversation as well. And, well, let's see, just out of curiosity, what happens if we try to chat with Garrus again?
Shepard, need me for something?
Okay, it looks like, you know, we can have the same conversations here,
Talk to you later,
by the looks of
Garrus.
things, so
I'll be here if you need me.
should be fine in that sense. So, that is the latest on Garrus and new area of the ship. We got the battery and some of the weapons. Let's see if any of our other squad mates have anything else new to say about our current state of affairs. Like Kasumi?
I was just thinking about you.
Oh, really? Okay.
I have to say, that Jacob? He seems pretty intense. I wonder if he likes Japanese girls with a penchant for kleptomania.
Are you referring to yourself in the third person? Because I feel like you are. Penchant for kleptomania certainly would seem to fit your description.
Joker and Edie are like an old married couple. I keep expecting to walk in on them bickering about the temperature in the cockpit.
I suppose it does bear some resemblance to some of that, but also on the whole Jacob comment there. I mean, Kasumi's all taken interest in Jacob seemingly, and not long ago, of course, we were doing Kasumi's loyalty mission in which we, well, destroyed, her former lover's grave box. So, you know, in some ways, I think that's a good sign, right? It's a sign that, well, I may question her judgment in thinking that Jacob is a cool dude when, I don't know, if you ask me, he's kind of on the boring side. But it's a good sign, I think, that, she's seemingly starting to move on from her prior relationship that is, well, certainly no longer possible. So, yeah, I think it's a good sign that she's, moving on with her life and hopefully give her the chance to, you know, find a new partner for herself.
Edie has a wicked sense of humor. Or I should say, a really funny lack of one. Sometimes she seems like a person. But when it comes down to it, I can't get past her being a computer.
Oh, and, Mass Effect will decide to tab out here. There we go. We're back. There we are. Can't get past her actually being a computer, even though, I mean, as an AI, she does at times sound a bit more like, resemble a human in some ways, like what we heard her, deliberately provoking Joker, apparently, at times, just to see what kind of reaction he would give. So, yeah, you know, that's not exactly something you'd expect for a computer to do.
Come back later. I'm sure I'll have more to talk about.
Alright. So Kasumi seems to be doing well. Let's see, anyone or anything else? Crewmates in here?
Collectors did take New Canton.
Yes, but my wife and daughter left in the nick of time.
I think we've heard that possibly several times before.
That's great news.
It is, but I knew a lot of good people in New
Okay.
Canton. Our mission has
I think,
to succeed.
in that case, we are done in this area. Let's jump back down to engineering and see if we have any updates down here from, say, Zaid.
Thinking about past missions. Got a minute? You might learn something.
Oh, okay.
So you knew Archangel from before. Interesting.
True.
Knew a lot of men taking jobs to kill the son of a bitch. I never saw the point. You and I wanted the same thing. A whole lot of mercs dead. Hell of a sniper, though. And he kept himself alive with all the mercs in Omega after him. That ain't easy.
Alright. Cool to see some mutual respect there between Zaid and Garrus. Or at least Zaid respecting Garrus.
You smoke, Shepard? Don't. That stuff will kill you. You're a kid once. Weapons dealer. Probably half your age. Bastard smoked too close to a cache of explosives. Tossed a butt, blew himself sky high.
Oh. That's one way to go, I suppose. Don't smoke, kids. You might accidentally blow yourself up. Not usually the reason for choosing to not smoke that you hear.
I should let you go. Talk more later, Shepard.
Alright. That's it from Zaid, then? That's cool. Then, you have someone on this side? What? Oh, right, this was the Krogan, who we've not yet activated. I know. I've not forgotten. I am deliberately waiting to do so until later occasion. Don't worry, it'll happen. We'll see what the whole deal is with that Krogan. We've got Jack down here.
Hey,
anything new we can talk to you? Have we talked about upgrades with you in the mission? I'm actually not sure if we have.
What do you think of Miranda and Jacob?
Jacob doesn't know who he is, but that's not my problem. Miranda's a Cerberus bitch. Knew that before she opened her mouth.
That we might have heard, but I'm specifically thinking of, like, upgrades. Maybe this is just one that is not super impactful, and that's why I'm forgetting it, but I can't remember which one it is that... If we do have one from Jack, I can't remember which one it is.
I picked up a lot of resources. Can you use them to help against the collectors?
I figured out those L5Xs. Consider yourself lucky. It's not like I keep a library of this shit around.
Yeah, and based how we did not see anything pop up there, I think we must have already asked her about that.
I don't care. I'm out to survive it, then cut loose.
Okay. What about more personal talk?
Tell me about you, Jack.
I'm done talking. Come back later.
Alright, alright.
Yep.
Let's head out in that case. But while we're down here, out of curiosity, see if these two are up to anything. Donnelly? Daniels? Nothing to say? That's surprising.
What can we do for you, Commander?
I mean, I imagine we've already asked you about all these things. Just surprised.
Will do, Commander.
You were not, having some kind of conversation. Does often seem as though that is the case. Alright, let's head back on up here, because I think we have more or less spoken to everyone we're looking to speak to at this point after having done this mission. We spoke to Jack, Saeed, Miranda, Garrus, Kasumi, Jacob, and Morden. Yep, I am Joker here as well. And we shouldn't really ever have reason why we need to go up to the commander's cabin after a specific mission, or after the generic missions in case, or unless maybe every once in a while. But it's not like we have squad mates we're looking to check in on up there or anything like that. So let's head back to the Combat Information Center in that case.
The elusive man wishes to speak to you in the debriefing room, Commander.
Okay, now, well, like Kelly is saying, the elusive man would like to speak to us in the debriefing room. But before we do so, let's make sure we save. Because, well, that doesn't happen every day. We've done a fair number of missions, and the last time we had the elusive man specifically talk to us was what? After we finished, what was it, Freedom's Progress, basically the tutorial, and then he said, "Here, go out, recruit a team," and I don't even remember what he said he was going to be working on in the meantime, but apparently he has something of particular importance that he would like to make a point of, well, speaking to us about. Okay, well that's the Thanex Cannon, which is the upgrade that we learned from Garrus. I'm not entirely sure why it's popping up now, of all times, other than maybe that we started approaching the research terminal, but I would have thought that would have popped up once we finished talking to Garrus, so that still seems a little bit strange.